And we're live. Oh, I think. Gotta double check. Yes, we're live. Very nice. Awesome, awesome. Let's pop out the chat. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Apparently I now can add moderators. That's good to know. I don't trust anyone, though. That's the problem. That's not entirely true. Anyway. All right. I think we're good. There we go. Okay. Well, welcome. I got tea today instead of high noons, which, you know, generally is a bad choice. Hey, Daniel Fry. How's it going? What up to you? Hey, Soapy. Oh, Soapy's got the high noons. Awesome. Can you see my my holiday cup? Maybe not. Oh, that came out pretty good. It's backwards, but it came out good. Oh, it's Frizz. Nice, dude. I didn't know that. I do now. I'll remember that. Beatbox like a degen. No, those are calls, my friend. What's going on, Mr. Evan? Mr. Evan M3. So do you have an M3, or is it just like, or is it Money Supply third tier or something obscure? Minty fresh. I wanted to have the chamomile tea that would eventually put me to sleep, but no. What's going on? Sorry, good to see you. Did I pour my high noon into the coffee mug? No, not today. Today we're doing high noon free. They didn't. It turns out they're not willing to sponsor me and pay me to drink high noons on stream. So I'm like, you know what? Screw you guys. It's not even that good. Okay, it's still really good, but I'm not going to have any more. Not today. The problem was I had way too many last time. Four is like 100% more than I normally have. Just gonna throw that out there. Beatboxes taste like candy without all the good parts. You mean like zebra gum, maybe? You know, where the sugar runs out immediately? What year is the M3? I had a buddy who had a 1997. This was back in like early 2000s. So I had a C4 Corvette 1992, and I would race his 97 M3 and beat him every time. Zebra cum, yes, delicious for half a second. Indeed, disgusting. I used to get that at the roller rink. You even know what that is? I guess they still exist, right? I don't know. Zebra gum was one of those things that was like purely amazing marketing, but I want to go to whoever ran the factory and just like slap them. Be like, why did you make such garbage and sell it to people? You used to DJ at a roller rink? What? Was it United Skates? I hope it was United Skates. Shuffle and backward skaters only. Were they quads? They had to be quads then, right? For shuffle? No, I guess not. I guess you could do rollerblade. Inline. Local independent play. Okay. All right. Interesting. I guess they're all probably independent, though. Well, maybe there's chains. I don't know. I used to love going to them as a kid. And I used to spend most of my time... Move that a little bit. I used to spend most of my time playing The Simpsons, the arcade game. Do you remember that? So many quarters went to that game. It doesn't look as cool on blades. Well, I was a blader. Sorry. Actually, back then, no, I used the quads. I got blades later. Yes. Well, not just the skateboard attack, but like the combined. What did Marge and Homer did, like the roll that just destroys everything, and then did he ride like her hair or something? I don't remember. Yeah, it was a good game. I played it not too long ago. I have an Xbox with all those old games. Beatbox Hard T is the best one. Huh. 2018 M3. Nice. What? No, 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 dude. Don't worry. Market's coming back. We're gonna talk. We're gonna talk about everything market related too. I did not update my NLV, by the way. I haven't updated it since October because I just don't feel like feeling bad about it. I don't really care. Like I'm just not selling any of this stuff. And like a lot of this stuff is down a lot. A lot for some of these things. But it's like, I don't know. I believe in all of it. I don't have Google anymore. I got to take that off, actually. I sold it at 270, by the way. So I feel, which were 275. So I feel fine about that. Hey, Barrel Proof. E30 M3. What year is the E30? Is that like the... So there was the E85 was the real popular one, right? I think. Like the early 90s before they drastically changed the body style. I don't know. I might be making up letters and numbers. All right. Well, let's get into it. I'm not sure. I don't think we're going to go for like 3 hours today, just to like level set expectations a little bit. Wow, it's so bright. I need to make dark mode for this too. I guess I can do that real quick, couldn't I? Does this work? Maybe. Does that look better? It's still bright though, right? Whatever. We'll just keep it bright. Yeah, so a lot of stuff went on this week. What did we do? I feel like I did all the trades Monday and Tuesday. 86 to 91. Okay, yeah. Perfect. That was the one that was well known. Dork mode. Do you know what a dork is? I bet you don't even know what a dork is. Dork. CC at the Moneyball won't sell for a loss. Good. Good for you. E46 is 2000. Oh, I love the 2004 look, by the way. Concern for CoreWeave. Yeah. I don't know. I keep listening to the arguments against it. And I'm like, where were these? Okay. It's real easy to be like, something bad is happening. Let me justify it. And I disagree with that approach. I think instead we need to consider the fact that everybody was on the CoreWeave bandwagon up until the earnings report. And from what I can tell, the earnings report wasn't that bad. Other than like we have a good problem, which is not enough capacity, but that's a solvable problem. I don't know. I think hey Eurex, I think it's just overblown. I think it's an excuse for the stock to do things like gap fill, which by the way, like there was a gap at one point that we were talking about. Where was it? I'm on the daily, right? This was a gap that we talked about filling down to 93. But there was another one I thought in the past. Maybe I'm misremembering this. Definitely not worried about that. That would be an insane gap to fill. That one would make me squeeze out some tears probably. But I think overall, we could delete that nonsense now. This is just an excuse to drive the stock price down a bit. And like, look, here's a good example. Completely unrelated, but look at this. Look at Lunar. And which by the way, I drew this cup and handle and I just keep extending the handle. Like originally it ended over here and now it ends down here. But it might actually be taken off. I don't know. Green engulfing bullish candle after this mess of a week. Not a bad start to this potential God arrow. But like, look at the drop that Lunar had. And it was also around earnings, with earnings. You bottom out and we go right back to where we were. But it's so easy when you're in this spot right here that like you only see vectors in the stock market. So like without without the cup here, all anyone was really looking at was just this arrow down, right? Which, why am I not seeing the arrow? I just realized, I learned recently in my video where I taught people how to use this that there's all these like shortcuts for stuff. Anyway, arrow is what I wanted to do. There's, we think in vectors where this arrow is heading down and it looks like it's just never going to end, right? It looks like, let's see if we can get something that stands out. We'll do yellow. And then it does. Like everything in life, in the stock market, it does. And eventually you get like the exact opposite going up. And honestly, I feel like we're going to have that type of situation with CoreWeave because there's nothing that scary about the company to me. They have so many business opportunities and currently contracted business opportunities that I look at this, I'm like, I don't know. I feel like this is just gonna bounce again. And you live this with so many different stocks, but there's also like you can't do any real TA here. And AA was talking about this earlier today. He kept looking at NBIZ instead of CoreWeave because it was just a better, which also looked god awful. It looked okay for a little bit there today, and then it just dropped like a rock, and here we are. But I guess it could have been worse. I don't even think we're going to fill the gap on this, to be honest. Maybe I'm wrong. It was green on the extended hours, by the way, which just clicked off at 8 o'clock. Of course. Come on. Like, why doesn't it leave that? Why does it do that? Like, there's got to be a way to keep that on. I don't know. I guess I don't know everything about TradingView, but if you look at this, it's the same story of there's so much business undercurrent support that like how far can the price really drop that isn't anything but market manipulation type stuff. And yeah, of course you can look at the weeklies and be like, we're back testing this and that. Maybe we'll back test the 34 EMA. I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, we could, but I don't really see it. And I feel the same way about CoreWeave. I think that, there's definitely, it feels terrible, but I've felt this way before. I've felt this way with Reddit. And, look what Reddit has done over the last year. This felt bad. What am I? Oh, I'm on the weekly. That's why. Yeah, this felt terrible going from 228 to 80 to 70. Like this was worse. This was worse than CoreWeave. And then just like, look what happened. We end up all the way back up to dang near 300. And we're doing it again, right? Like this is what stocks do. So they extend out from the EMAs, they back test to the mean, and the markets find excuses to make things move around is really often my view of this stuff. Because like, again, looking for answers and pinning stuff to things is not reality. That's how analysts work. They look at stuff after something's happened. It's like, oh yeah, thanks bozo. Where were you before that happened? If this was so obvious, and that's what people are talking about CoreWeave with. So like the only scary thing about CoreWeave to me is the fact that so many people have jumped on the bandwagon of like, oh yeah, it's going to, what's it going to do? Go to zero? That doesn't make any sense. So I take the Cantonese cat position, which I don't think he's a CoreWeave aficionado or anything. But I think we're going to probably settle out and bounce back up. The earnings weren't even bad. Like, I just keep going back to the earnings weren't even bad. Hey, Justin and Superman. Yeah, you, dude. Oh, Dirt Turtle's here too. James Draper. I got everybody in the house. I missed a whole bunch of people. UNH too. Yeah, UNH is another one for sure. Although UNH I think was red today, wasn't it? Yeah, big red day. Oh, big-ish red day. Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. I look at this and even Lilly did this to like, you draw a trend line, which this trend line can definitely be redrawn better. I'm not sure if I was rushing here or what I did, but like, look at Lilly. Lilly looks a lot better, and on a shorter time frame though was doing these same things where huge run up, big scary looking drop, huge run up, big scary looking drop, huge run up, or guess where this is going, right? Like, it's just going to continue to do this, but the overall trend is fine. Now, the only difference is the period often changes on this stuff, and so, you know, on the Lilly, we're looking at the daily. On UNH, we might want to look at the weekly to have a similar view, because not all stocks move in the same way. Nvidia, similar, right? Like, we've had this wild run up on Nvidia, peaked just enough to get Frizzell out at a millionaire status, and then drop back to be like, let's make some more millionaires. Here, come buy us back at 180. And some people did. Almost tested the 100 SMA, which we may still do, by the way. Again, I don't know what this line is for. I think I was just drawing stuff. But like, there's nothing scary about this. Like, this is just, we're just wedging as we're waiting on news. And oh, by the way, earnings is coming up for Nvidia, right? So like, we've got very limited time here before something happens. We either pop up or down, and who knows? I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm not worried. And like, I'm not even invested in Nvidia, but if I were, I wouldn't be worried about it. It's the same with all of these. What'd you get back in at, Frizzell? I always say your name like it rhymes with gazelle. I don't know. I just can't do it otherwise. Sorry. What's Hood doing? Oh man, Hood has fallen from grace. But again, like, ridiculous all-time highs if you go back, what, to September? Crazy. Holding. I'm holding for you. Let me know. I still love this Mega God Arrow on Hood, cup and handle on the weekly. The monthly. Maybe the monthly is the best way to look at this one. Yeah, let's look at the monthly. Wow. Nobody would believe it if I didn't draw it. I love it. 198? Okay. All right. That's not bad. CoreWeave doubles revenue and now is up 88% over the last year. Exactly, dude. Exactly. Totally overblown reaction. I keep saying the same thing. What are you going to do? At this point, we're down, what, like 50% from the all-time high, I guess? Let me see. Was it at 150? We probably touched it, right? Yeah, and now we're at basically half of that. So, in fact, we were half at some point this week. Today, I should say. But none of that makes sense. So, like, I just look at this. I'm like, whatever. So, yeah, you could sell. You could sell here. You could be that guy that buys high and sells low. Or you could suck it up and just believe in the company that you believed in when you bought the company and just keep believing in it. Unless something has changed to your position, which I don't know what that would be. If you think of something, let me know. But I'm just not aware of, like, what's the risk. People are talking about, China's going to win. Well, it's not like we're going to stop competing in the AI race, whatever that is, right? Like, is it the same as going to the moon? I don't know. It sounds that way. Rode 205 cc's. Oh, nice. How many contracts you working with on that? Oh, 10. You said 10, right? Does it feel good to be back in at below the cost basis that you sold at? That's the dream, man. That's what you want to do with the wheel. The ultimate goal. Yeah, what was the welcome Dusty Johnny? Are you a Discorder? Are you a Theta Daddy or just YouTubing? There was a meme somebody posted on it. Was it Iluvatar? I can't remember. But like, if you can't handle me at 75, you don't deserve me at 150. that stupid Facebook meme or Tumblr that went around for years ago. What's going on, Lattice DK? If Showcase is in, I'm in. Yeah, dude, he's in. I know that for a fact. He's in. I'm in too. I'm in very deep on both of these, by the way. 1,000 NBIS and 1,900 CoreWeave now. 1,800 and 1,000 CoreWeave X at like $9. Geez, should have waited on that one a little bit, huh? I bought it at like here. Yep, and then it went to here. I could have got it at $6. And like, I want to keep buying it, but I'm just out of cash at this point. Oh, After Hours. Cool, man. Welcome. We loved After Hour folk here as well. That's where I started after all. So yeah, anyway, not worried about CoreWeave at all. But let's just talk results a little bit. So this is what I love about selling options. Like, everything went down, and yet we still generate cash, which can be used to then buy shares at these lower prices and average down our cost basis in two ways. One, by selling options and naturally lowering your cost basis by, like, you know, if you sold an option for $2.95 on NBIZ, guess what? Let's just call it $3. The cost basis dropped $3. Okay. And if I use that $29.40 to buy NBIZ today, what is NBIZ even costing me right now? $83.50 down after hours probably. Oh no, it was up. We'll just use 85. So like, I don't know, $29.40 divided by 85, I could get another 35 shares for the lowest cost basis that I could possibly have. And that does continue to average you down. That's the trick. That's what we do here. And I was really happy with the whole week. I actually had a couple of swing trades too. I did a Connell swing, got back in, unfortunately for me, way too soon, because then it just dropped like a rock on Tuesday. I did get back in that though. And RDTL, swung trade that, made a quick 450, and then I got back in at like 37, and it's been down as low as like 33, but already back up to like 39. Could have sold it. I have a limit sell in for 45. I'm not even looking at it. I don't care at all. I'm just gonna let that sit. This is kind of like an experimental account, by the way. So I just started with 3,000 or whatever it was on just cash in a random IRA that I was like, I don't feel like managing this. And I was like, oh, I like swing trading. Why don't I just exclusively swing trade in it? So that's all I'm doing there. So far, so good. I'm not underwater with even the RDTL that I got at 37. I don't think. Maybe I am actually. Let's see. What did RD? It's like it's flat. So 37, 38. That's fine. But yeah, Reddit. This is what Reddit does. So I was just like, yeah, you know, I'm comfortable swinging there. All right. So then, what else did we do? We bought a lot of stuff back. Do I ever use the bear ETFs like Connie? You know, I do, but only one. The only one that I've used is SVIX, which is short VIX, because it's basically guaranteed free money in a way. Because if SVIX ever, if VIX ever has like a super spike, you just buy it when it's low and sell it when things settle. Like that's just how it works almost every time. I did that. I've done that a few times here. It's worked out pretty well. I did it in April. No, here. And then sold it here. And then I think I did it again in the summer at some point. But yeah, that's probably the only one I do. I've thought about doing some others. Like I know Tesla has one, but I would never. I know plenty of people have, but Tesla's the scariest thing in the world for me to bet against, based on everything I know about it. You know, when people were continually trying to short it last year here, and it just kept going up and bankrupting people, I was like, yeah, it doesn't make sense. But you know what? It doesn't have to make sense, and I'm not. I like to follow it. And if we drop back to 300, I will buy it again. And that's basically how I think about Tesla. But otherwise, no, I don't usually buy the bear side of them too much. I think if anything, I would just buy puts if I felt that strongly about it. See ONS in the trades. Yeah, we'll get the ONS in a little bit. Dynabro, good to see you. ONS was amazing, yeah. Connell and Connie follow BTC. Yeah, nope, for sure. That is another thing about uh, coin is just in general very much tied to BTC. But like this price is a gift for anyone who likes coin. I think I'm surprised we're back below the 200 SMA. That's pretty wild on the daily. The weekly is reaching to the 100. I'll be surprised if we even hit that. We certainly could, but we finished, if you look on the weekly, we finished exactly at the 50. So I don't know. That seems like potential support. We'll see what happens from here, but I'm hopeful that we'll be back up at this point. Overall, like look on the weekly, that is a mega trend up of just nice channel, right? I think there's a good chance that we just continue to bounce up around here and keep moving up. I don't see why not. But okay, people were asking about ONS. Okay, ONS, I had 2 trades go on, and I was pretty happy about the first one, and the second one is fine. It's further dated, but the first one was I sold 20 contracts at 12C for 720, and the idea was these were potentially, it was a 3.7% return to begin with, and it was, whoops, yeah, I'm here, I'm streaming, $2 a share appreciation if it were to get called away. So like, would have been amazing. Instead, everybody probably knows what happened to ONS this past couple of weeks. We dropped into the toilet and touched as low as 493. That was a wreck, but a great time to buy back covered calls. And that's what I did. So I bought those back. I don't know if that was on the 10th or not. The 10th was, the next day. I missed them on Friday, but was able to buy them back the next day for 4 cents and walked away with 90% of the profit from the original contract. And they were originally for November 21st. So I got out early with pretty much all the profit. And then I waited a couple of days. We had some recovery and decided to sell further dated in January 10Cs because we're so far away from that. I felt that was, this is wrong. That was the old one. We were so far away from 10 that it felt like a good bet, and I'm happy if the shares get called away. And if not, I'll just sell. I'll buy to close the CC again if we drop back down. There was a lot of momentum a couple of days here, but we keep falling back pretty strongly. And I don't know. This is not worrisome or anything like that. There's a lot of excitement and a lot of volume. You can see the volume has increased dramatically here, which is great. And they had stellar earnings, right? Beats on both earnings and revenue. And I think that was just like a good clarifier of like, hey, we're not just a meme stock. We really make money, idiots. Buy more of our stock. And then a lot of people are like, yeah, well, I'm not an idiot, so I'm going to buy more of your stock. And they did. And now things are obviously going back in the right direction. So I feel fine about ONS. If it gets called away at 10, cool. If I buy it back sooner, cool. I'm not worried about this really at all. Even if it were to drop back down, I don't know. Long term, this seems like a real safe bet. In the next 3 years, it feels like a pretty safe bet. Hey, Ayn, good to see you. Oh, I got to catch up a little bit here. Sorry. Lots of chat going on. Let's see. Laddering down. Yep. NBiz puts ladder. Oh, yep. Good. What'd you learn, Ayn, on what? Oh, BitF? What was that? That's Bitfarms? Is that what that is? Is this a mining company? Or is it a mining company that became a data center company? I know that's a thing now. Yeah, you know, here's what I like to do. For one, I like to have a target. Now, there's something to be said for letting things run. Like if I bought, which I would never have bought it anyway because I don't like miners, but say I bought it down here, most certainly I would have sold by like here. Like there's no way. I might have even waited here, but then I would have sold by here. Be like, it's good enough. it's very rare that I hold something for multiple hundreds of percent, unless there's a really strong story behind it, which is how I feel on NBIZ and CoreWeave. Otherwise, what I like to do is I like to sell into the curve. I like to sell into the spike. Like ideally here, if you know, it's hard to say if you're not in it. It's all paper trading speculation stuff, and there's no emotion involved when you look at it like this. But I try to sell it when there's really like the strongest point of momentum. I'm like, okay, I'm good enough. I'm out. So would I have ever sold this? No, I never would have sold it at 650. If I did own it, which I would never own it anyway, I probably would have got out at like 450 and been happy. That's like just my thought process on whenever I see big green percentages, I want to take them. I want to grab them, and it's not always right. Like if you listen to people who have made a ton of money off of individual stocks, they'll hold on to the bitter end, and sometimes that pays. Now I do that with Reddit, which is my highest conviction stock right now. Still, even though I've hinted at losing a little conviction, I haven't fully yet. I think I'm still good on it, but like my target is up here, and then I will be out at 500 if we were to spike up that high, which could be a couple years away yet. I don't know, but like either have a target, or if you don't have a target, when it feels euphoric, get out. That's really it. And you can usually feel euphoria. Ons had that a couple of times, for that matter. And like I think there were multiple times of euphoria on Ons. This bull flag was, so we had a cup and handle, and a lot of this was like legit. You could follow it. I would have sold when the cup petered out, when the God arrow petered out here. And in fact, I did. I did. I didn't even sell it up here. I sold it down here. But if you rode it all the way up with conviction, like where do you think it goes? Is it going to become Palantir? I mean, maybe, I guess. But I don't have that level of conviction with ONS. I think, the current market cap is what? 2 billion? And so 4 billion, 5 billion seems like a pretty big amount of growth in a very short period of time, and I'm okay getting out at that point. So you just got to find what grounds you on the stock, whether it's EPS or, I do typically look at market cap. That's my goal for Reddit, is for it to get to a $100 billion company, which would be equivalent to about $500 a share. I forget exactly what it is. I did the math a couple times. I don't remember the exact number. And that's it. That's where I go like, okay, that feels like the right size for Reddit. And then from there, like I'm not expecting it to become a $1 trillion company or something like that. But I do think it's an integral business with the data that it has. Muffin, what's going on, man? Sorry, I was rambling. Take profits when green. That's good life advice, I'd say. All right, so back to what we were doing before the last tangent, but not the last tangent. Archer, I had 3,000 shares CC'd at 11, which is my cost basis. We went above the cost basis, and I was locked in. And then we went below the cost basis all the way back to under $8. But I bought these back for 90% profit, less than or about 50% in. So that was fine. And now they're uncovered. I actually tried looking to sell some below cost basis CCs on these at like 9 or 10, just a month out, and couldn't get a good fill on it. I did put them in for like 17 cents, and the bid ask was 15 to 17. Never hit. So those are uncovered going into next week, and that's fine. I'm not in a rush. That's the thing. Like, the more I mess with any of this stuff, the less rush that I find myself in. Clove was a fun one. Clove, I sold $4 CCs on these, and I don't even have it on my watch list because this is how little I care about it. And what did we do? We spiked just about to 4. We were so close. And then earnings just disappointed so much for whatever reason, even though it's not that far off from a revenue standpoint. EPS, obviously. And just dropped right back down. So I was like, okay, well, earnings passed. That was the big catalyst. That was between me and my strike. I was able to buy it back for a penny. So that's what I did. And at some point, I will probably continue to sell $4 calls here because that was my cost basis on these originally. But I mean, I don't know. I'm still making money on it. $1,300 on a like $2,000 position. It's very tiny. $8,000 position, I guess, was the original. So yeah, continuing to lower that cost basis, and I'm good with it. I'll keep wheeling this tiny amount. I don't even know why I bother. It's actually a waste of my time, but here we are. I'm a sucker though. I'm like, it's a good company. I think it's a good company. I think it's got some potential outlook or upside, I should say, not outlook, that just hasn't hit yet. And maybe we'll never, but for now, can still wheel it, and it's making money. ONS, we talked about ONS. We haven't really talked about CoreWeave, but I will talk CoreWeave as well. What did I miss? You're watching 90 Day Finance, Happily Ever After. What? Oh, Fiance. I'm not even drinking High Noons. Yeah, that is peak media right there. Hey, Daily Site. Gino and other... Oh my God, are you really talking about this show? God, I'm going to ban all of you on this channel. You guys want to do a watch party later? We could do a watch party of 90 Day Fiance. Okay, back to CoreWeave. So we talked about CoreWeave a little bit. I mean, CoreWeave made 5K for me, despite... Okay, it lost a lot more than 5K NOV value, but I'm still happy with it. Like, I'm going to keep selling. I'll probably sell below cost basis here for a bit, but buying 99% profit always feels good. And the CSPs, the only thing I regret on the CSPs, and I think this is something that, like, personally, I'm still not as good at this as I'd like to be, and it's patience on the drop. CoreWeave is the example, but, you know, we dropped here on this day to 90, and I'm like, oh, 90, this is it. This is a former level of support, right? Like, no way we're dropping below. I was sure we weren't dropping below 90. We even bounced off, or whatever this number was. Where was 90? Yeah, I was sure that 90 was safe and downside protection took me to prior support. So I was like, yeah, this is perfect. And the fact is, I probably should have just waited a couple days to see if the trend was going to continue or not. And that's something that Average Advisor talks a lot about is watch the trend. The stock wants to keep moving in the direction it's going, and it takes a while. And now, you know, look, we are here. Here's why I feel fine about this. The other reason is look how oversold we are on the 2 period. Not surprising, but the 14 period RSI is entering oversold territory pretty clearly. And now these two things. So maybe there's another couple of days of red ahead of us before we go red on both charts. I don't know. But eventually, I do think this is going to swing back up the other direction here, and we'll see some recovery. Will we get back to this trend line? Not here, probably, but, you know, maybe we just move it out to here or something. I think it'll be fine. Getting NBIS assigned at 104. Hey, congrats. My NBIS was assigned at 120. You know, I look at NBIS though, and it could have been worse. I got shares called away. I got shares at 125, somewhere over here. Maybe it was over here. Am I on the weekly? No, I'm on the daily. And they got called away at 130. This must have been Friday. Yeah, at 130 and change. And I was like, oh, great. And then we dropped on Monday. I'm like, oh, I'm totally getting back in. And I was like, yeah, 120 sounds great. And I got back in at 120. And then just, you know, like obviously everybody knows what happened from there. But The plus side is I could have been holding them for 130. So like it still worked out. It still like reduced the overall cost basis in that process. And you gotta find the good in your trades because not everything's gonna go your way. Like Galaxy, another one that I'm. This is where I bought in right here, where I'm like, yeah, watch, look at this green arrow. That's surely gonna keep going in that direction. But like everything, everything did the same. So I don't feel bad about these predictions. By the way, when the entire market takes a shift together, hard to avoid that. 92, 100, 105, and 86. Nice. It's all good. I'm not upset about it at all, Sophie. So what's your muffin? Do you know what that takes your cost basis to? I'm glad you guys have got a NBiz drinking game going on in the chat. That's fun. Galaxy, top of the Milky Way. Oh man, I feel you. I feel you. I got in at 37, so like not great. 37.50, I think, somewhere over here. So yeah, I mean, whatever. Again, like the macro trend still good. Still got a long way of like, whoop, lot of good stuff to look forward to here over the next couple of weeks. That's how I like to look at it. Will there be a December rally? I hope. Hopefully. Alex, you made it, dude. Can't believe you forgot about me. Fidelity will tell you Tuesday, dude. Why does Fidelity do they run their calculations on a TI-82 for the entirety of their shareholders or customer base? I just don't get it. It's ridiculous. On an abacus, yeah. Except the balls keep falling off the abacus, and they're like, sorry guys, you're gonna have to wait another day. The balls fell off again. 486. Oh, bring back memories. I had a 286 actually with the 5 1/4. Oh yeah, played 8-bit Hangman, 8 color, not 8-bit, 8 color. 5 1/4, dude. That's what Oregon Trail came on. You know it. Okay, what else we got? RDTL swing trade, already talked about that. NBiz, oh man. So the only regret I have with NBiz this week was, first off, bought back the CC for like 90% or 85% profit. That was great. Could have waited another day potentially, I guess. But then this week, there was this run up on Wednesday. And where did we run to? It was 105. Maybe it was Tuesday. There was one day where like it was Tuesday. I'm sorry. It just ran. And I tried selling a CC greedily at 120 cost basis for like $1.50. And I typed it in and hit submit. And then I go and refresh and I look to see if it was filled. And I'm like, oh no, the bid asks has dropped by like 20 cents already. I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna put it on the edge here and hopefully it fills. And then I kind of walked away. Well, this was one of those examples where walking away did not help and it never got assigned or it never sold. And that ended up being worthless, both actually by the end of the week. And it would have been another like $1,200, or if I had just like succumbed to forcing the trade to go through, which in this case would have been the move. Now, again, how can you know? You can't really, but it would have been good. It would have been a good move. Would have lowered that cost basis another $1. Sucker. Not drinking. Nope. Sorry. I'm drinking this Falalala. There you go. The holiday cup is out. My wife has already... Okay, I'm going to tell you something sick and embarrassing, and I don't actually support this, but my wife has 6 Christmas trees. They're not all full-sized, but 2 are. There are 2 full-size trees. And then each of the kids, I have 3 kids, have their own tree. And then she has her own in the effing office. And she's like, "Do you want one?" And I'm like, "No. Why would I want another Christmas tree? What are we doing here? Like, stop supporting Timu or whatever. Like, maybe I need to be investing into Timu because this is absurd." Now, I will say, yeah, it's November. You're telling me, dude. The rule that she has is it's fair game after Halloween, and that's like a loose rule that I've pushed back on. Oh, life is weird. No, not gonna do it. You're not getting pictures. All right, maybe I'll take a picture later and put it on the Discord. I'm definitely not showing it on YouTube though. Dude, so my rule, my like growing up, my dad was like, nope, as soon as you can put any stuff up is 2 weeks before, which I think is a little tight, especially for kids. I think it's fine if you fill out the advent calendar worth of time, put the tree up at the beginning of the advent calendar, right? And that's fair game. But like now, like I will say it happened to snow the other day, so I guess there's that. But man, it too soon. Oh no, you got Christmas lights up outside. There's only like 2 houses in the neighborhood so far, or one that has lights up already. You left the tree up. You're like me back when my car didn't auto change my time, and every time the time changed, there was just 6 months out of the year where my time was off by an hour, and that was that because I didn't know how to change it, and I didn't feel like Googling it. And then every time I thought about Googling it, I was not in my car, so that wasn't useful. And I was refusing to like Google it, then walk to the car because who would want to do that? Anyway, all right, we stopped talking about stocks somehow. I don't even know how. I'm not sure what happened here. NBIZ, yeah. So that was unfortunate. I did resell CoreWeave. I forgot about that. I should put these together here. Yeah. So CoreWeave in total was actually 5,500. Pretty nice. Sold 100 Cs on Tuesday. More better, obviously. Okay, wait a second. How's CoreWeave doing for me? I mean, CoreWeave's doing great. Okay, so I got plenty to work with here in terms of, fluff in the numbers and cost basis and all that good stuff. Yeah, I think it's fine. I'm not gonna keep harping on it. And then the last trade that I made was Reddit at the start of the week, and they were just really low delta. 230 when we were at about 210. Oh, dude, but I'll tell you what, okay, let's go to Reddit for a second. I was looking at the Reddit subreddit, which is like Reddit stock, and it's hilarious because I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday, somebody posted, so is this the last time we'll ever have had an opportunity to buy this stock for less than $200? And all I gotta say to that is, brother, what is wrong with you? In what world do you think that this stock will never touch 200 again in the next couple of months? Like, what? This is all it took. Look at this. We talk about this all the time, but in these 3-day period, I'll give him 4. I'll give him 4. Really, it's still 3 green bars, but I'll even give him this one where I think finished above 200 still. He thought that the stock was forever only going to go up. You wonder why I have golden rules. These work in both directions, by the way. And I will forever hold to stocks don't only go up and stocks that only go down. But in the moment, there's not only an undo but a redo button, a shortcut. Cool, I didn't know that. People just they see vectors. The stock is going up, so it must only ever continue to go up. And I've been affected by this personally, where I've made poor choices on it. That's why it's a golden rule, not because I just made it up, because I lived it multiple times. And yeah, this jabroni was like, oh yeah, this stock's never going below. The next day, less than 24 hours, I was tempted, but I decided not to be a jerk. But I was going to link him to the Aged Like Milk subreddit because like that aged faster than milk. Well, no, I guess milk out for a day is probably not good. Well, before back in the day, it was right. Like they used to drop it off and put it on the doorstep outside, and I guess it was fine. I don't know. I didn't buy milk back then. There was back when there was like milkmen. You don't have a junker and the time stays the same year round. Nice. Well, mine wasn't a junker either, but it just now it's the Tesla's auto, so I don't have to think about it. You saw that post. What? This cup? Dude, this cup's just started. I drew this today. Don't even think about telling me to take this cup down. I think this cup has a legitimate chance. This is all normal. You'll just have to wait and see and trust in my cup genius. The AA video was not well, actually, okay, it was recorded. Unfortunately, it was recorded without microphone. Again, whoops, it wasn't me. For the record, I wasn't the recorder. He does not he doesn't do this normally like I do, so I don't make that type of mistake. No offense if you're watching AA, we love you. Hey, YTP. But yeah, he did not hit the. There's like, I don't want to show. I guess I can show you OBS. Do you want to see what I see? Should I take you behind the curtain? Is there anything here I don't want you to see? There's no like account numbers or anything. No. All right. You can see behind the curtain. This is OBS, and there's this thing down here where you can mix, and if you can talking, but it wasn't recording, stuff like that. So anyway, that's that was the mistake that was made. Now you know. Now everyone knows. It's not magic. OBS, by the way, it's free. If you ever want to stream, it's amazing. Dude, Alec, OBS has come a long way. Let me tell you, back when I made YouTube videos and tried streaming live in the past, in like the year 2007, which, by the way, my videos are still up on that on a different channel. Found out I had the first ever Fallout challenge made by a guy who does like a Fallout channel. And he's like, I found this video from 15 years ago. And I was like, what? What are all these comments and likes coming from? I haven't done anything on that channel in forever. But anyway, back then we had to use like hobbled together technology. Camtasia was one of the best options. It was terrible. There was a lot of junk. And then OBS came around and it wasn't great, but they have just, it's open source, it's free, and it is by far the best. There was, XSplit was another one that was popular. Tia Muffin, thanks for stopping by. Were you working, M3 or Mr. Evan? Or M. Revan? I'm Revan, the M3. Is that how you say your name? Fraps was a thing. Yeah, Fraps was a recorder, though, not a... I used Fraps to record my videos that I put on YouTube. But it was not actually a live stream system at the time. Maybe it was later. I'm not sure. Yeah, dude, it's been amazing. Camtasia, dude, I think that's what it was for, by the way, originally. I'm not going to go there, but I mean, look, business does what business does. They find the highest opportunities and they go after them, right? And girls like making money too. I'm guys, I suppose. The guys certainly did not make nearly as much, I doubt. Oh, this is a bad topic. We need to stop talking about that. I didn't tag it made for kids though, at least. Yeah, I got I have hundreds of old videos on YouTube, and I sound like such a New Yorker. New Jersey, yeah, but you got cheap gas. New Yorkers go to New Jersey for gas. That's not corrupt, right? I did always hate the New Jersey Turnpike, though. Okay, what else do we have here? All my leaps are hurting, every single one of them. GT's okay, actually. Ironically, GT's been like holding its own here in this weird just range of 750. Oh, bull flag maybe, or bull pennant. Well, what do we call this? Where's bourbon? I need bourbon. This is not the drink, the guy. But I don't know, dude. I don't know. It looks okay to me. And look at the volume. The volume follows the consolidation. You got basically the same shape here, right? The up and then the consolidation down. I'm holding on to these leaps for sure. But I also have AI leaps, which are hurting pretty bad. They're probably at like $3 right now. TTD, which is really painful to look at because, you know, the multiple times they've been 30% in the profit. Same with UNH. Huma's never been in the profit, but I'm still holding them. Again, here's the thing about leaps. Like, don't even look at them. Set a timer. Remind me in 6 months and then look at them. Unfortunately, it's hard to do that on your brokerage. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm not worried about them. That's a bull flag. Yeah, well, there's a bull pennant. That's a thing. Yeah. That's a bourbon flag. Oh, barrel proof is bourbon. Well, that makes a whole lot of sense. Hell yeah. Awesome, dude. Yeah, I think this is good. What was the other one you call that? Oh, pattern. Let's look at pattern, which is red, but and I drew a bull flag on this. So you think this goes further? What's yours look like? Something like this? I could still buy into that, especially in the weekly, probably. Oh yeah, the weekly is much clearer. So we wedged into this breakout into what I think is likely a weekly bull flag. And weekly, these work on any time scale. We did this on Google on the weekly. Look at that beauty. I'm going to frame that one next to my cups. That's probably my best ever bull flag. Dude, nobody believed me on this on the Discord. I know you guys didn't believe this one either. I'm like, dude, weekly bull flag, it's slow, but it's going to move. And boom, we popped off. Even before earnings, we started to. It was amazing. Yeah, so the only thing about pattern is the volume is so low that this is weekly volume. Let's look at the daily. So like we're measuring in what? Where's the volume? I got to move this so I can see clearer. So in the thousands, right? 600K. I guess that's not terrible. But like 300,000 is low. That's low. And let me see if I've got a comparison here. So for a $3 billion company, which is about the same size as ON's, what is ON's volume? Yeah, 184 million. I get it. The stock's cheaper, so that has some component of it. But like the numbers are just so low for pattern. That's the only thing that I'm like, I don't know. I just don't think the market's caught on to them yet. So like, it's not like they're in any index funds, right? Or ETFs that I'm aware of. I would highly doubt it anyway. They just got options around here. And it seems unlikely to me that people are looking at them as a source of strength, but more likely that they're just not paid attention to yet. I could be wrong. I'm curious what your take is on it, Bourbon, but that was one thing I was thinking about when looking at it earlier today. The volume is very low. $20 material, I think it's more than that. I think if we're showing 3 billion, I think it's at least 10. I'm saying it now. So 10 billion, by the way, would put this at like, let's just call it 50, which by the way is like the top of the fibs. 45. All right, let's just call the top of the fibs, whatever that is. Right? Because what are we at? We're at 1750. 17 times 3 is some big number, like 51. So yeah, 50 is like a possibility. What is this arrow doing? What? Who drew this? I don't I don't know what that's doing there. Is that like from another drawing? That is so weird. It's going to be a while though, right? And now, like, maybe I should do this because I was talking about it earlier. But you know, if we get to 50, I will most definitely be out this piece. Okay, this is the. I'm Rick James. I'm out. I don't think Rick James said I'm out. I think he said something else, but that was the first thing that came to mind, and it's going to stick. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens with Pattern. It's a sign. Yeah, it would be a sign if the arrow went up, but it went like sideways to the right. All right. That's it for all my trades this week. That was it was a light week, but it was good. It was well over 1% because that's certainly my port's definitely not at 1.3 anymore. Not right now. But I'm thrilled with the week. Like, here's the deal. One last soapy fresh soapbox rant for you all. You are not in control of your NLV. Yes, you can sell everything and stop it from going down further outside of inflation, obviously. But it's not like something you can directly choose to impact. The market will do what the market will do. It doesn't care what you do or think. And if you make good choices over time, the NLV should go up. It's an output of your decision making. And my decision making here is to not sell. Will I be proven wrong across the board? Potentially. Will I have to live with that? Yeah, of course. But that's ticket to the dance type stuff in investing. So get over it. And I don't think about that at all. What I will say though is that I didn't sell a single stock this week. All of this is in IRAs, by the way. So like there's no loss harvesting for me to do. If I sold a stock, I would just be taking a loss on it. And long term, I believe in these companies. Now, I may do things like sell below cost basis covered calls to get some premium out of it. And that may burn me at some point, but if it does, you can just buy back in. It's not that big a deal. Like you can genuinely, if you have the cash and you see you're getting assigned, well, you could just buy shares as it's running and stop it from really being even a loss. Or you could sell, there's a lot of things that you can do. You could buy calls. You could buy leaps. You could buy the 2X, which I do that too. So and for the record, I have a lot of 2X. So I'm dramatically impacted by the move down on RDTL, on Connell. I have ADBG. I have METU. I've got all this stuff that is like slightly below cost basis right now. Mega below cost basis on RDTL. CoreWeave X is it's pretty far below cost basis right now. But I'm not worried. HIMS is way below. Like, all this stuff is below. But like in a year, I'm curious, will I regret having not sold any of these? Right now, I like all these companies. Will that change? Yeah, earnings can change that where guidance is given, and if the leadership sucks or whatever, yeah, okay, then. But until there's a reason to change, why change? Why join the panic? Why FOMO out of stocks like you see other people doing? Because I don't believe that. That's not my position. And it's interesting watching people in the Discord, people on After Hour, like, I sold this, I can't take it anymore. I don't want to say that's wrong because it could be right. But it's likely often somewhat emotional driven, right? Maybe completely emotionally driven. And I did see, even today, there were some people who were like, I can't believe I sold and it's already up. I think it ended up finishing flat for most things. I don't remember what they sold, and I'm not looking to call anyone out. But like that's just an example of things go up, things go down. And as much as you like watching things go up, why didn't everybody sell when things were euphoric? Yeah, I genuinely thought when I was at the all-time high, I'm like, man, maybe I should just sell everything right now. But what would that have like accomplished? I would have bought other stuff that went down. It like honestly it wouldn't have done anything. I would have ridden the wave back down in other stocks or waited. Maybe I would have had a situation where I avoided 5% of the drop instead of eating 40% on some of these things, or 20% or whatever they were. And you can get upset about it, or you can just be like, watch time, zoom out, and give yourself time, give your portfolio time to breathe, to do its thing. And I genuinely think often the best thing that you can do is to shut the screen off and go outside. Like, really. I did this many times here during Reddit. Like, this hurt a lot to watch when you're at 230 and it drops to 80 on zero reason, on killer earnings, on news that was immaterial. But again, it's like the market finds reasons to latch onto why something needs to keep going down. And yeah, it's elevator down, or yeah, elevator down and escalator up, right? It's a slow walk up. But even then, sometimes it's catapult up, and that feels good too. And now we're down here, but like, hey, it's still good. Everything's still good here. So I don't know where I'm going with this, other than try to keep your emotions in check as best you can. Before you make a decision, maybe just ask yourself, has my fundamental position or thesis changed? And if the answer is no, then why the F are you changing? So I'm not. And that's that. Could I have made more if I sold here and waited for the bottom for everything? Yeah, obviously. That's what everybody wishes they could do. So you don't focus on that. Focus what's on within your control. And for us, that's selling options. And I love it. I think it's a great way to continue to average down, to increase your share position like we talked about at the beginning. It's great. So I'm going to keep doing it. It's been working. It's, in my mind, it's still working right now. This is the opportunity to get shares in a lower cost basis. I think you want it to go down at times. And when we go back up, you're just going to expand that much more. That balloon is now bigger, and you will have a better all-time high when we get there. And that's what we look forward to. But you can't always have all-time highs unless you're SPY. And I guess if you want, you could just buy SPY, which is generally more stable. But even this is seeing some rough waters this past couple weeks. Actually, honestly, like SPY, since October, this has been a mess. And in fact, like I remember, I didn't talk about this, but I do remember thinking like, man, it feels like these retests are getting closer and more frequent. And I don't know if that's a tell or some sort of TA that other people use as a tell, like the frequency of touches and backtesting and increasing probably means something. Not really thought about it that way, but it's clear when you look at it, right? That like, volatility, uncertainty, things are crazy. Just be careful. All right, that was it. That was my spiel. Let me catch back up. Oh, man. All right. You got some N bill? What'd you get it at, DT? I also played up to TBC, Alec, and then I quit. Hey, Lord Mar. Am I looking at energy stocks? No, were you the one who brought up VST or VRL? What was it? Do you think him sees 20s, E&P? No. I really don't. Could it? Obviously. Will it? I mean, it's like the most bearish trend I've seen in a while. There is a gap to 30. Maybe down here we fill that. We're not that far away. That would be wild. It's possible. But I don't know. It seems wildly oversold, although it doesn't look that way on the 14. Feels that way. Yeah, I don't know. If it does, I'm probably doubling down on it though. I have a 54 cost basis on this. So if we hit 25, 20, 30s, whatever, if we hit 30, I'll probably double up and bring my cost basis from 50 to whatever that would be, 42, which is a common area of support prior to this drop. And I'd feel pretty comfortable with that, doubling that position. You finished down $47 today. That's pretty good. I'm sure I was down more than that. A lot of people saw Bob flip the leaps and sold out. Yeah, I mean you can sell shares and flip the leaps. That's fine. What's going on, Black Mamba Trader? That's a great name. Didn't make any emotional decisions this week, Lord Mar. Awesome, dude. That is amazing. Long calls. Yeah, well, if they're long calls, you also can still hold them. Yeah, long calls for sure, dude. This, leaps are great, but this is a great example of when do you break out the leap toolkit? It's not here, right? Like, it's not here. And now that we're talking about it, maybe if Hims hits 30, maybe leaps is what I do instead. Because, that would be a wild ride. They weren't long enough. Got it. VRT, was that it? Maybe it was it. VRT was no, I don't think it was VRT. VST? Utilities. Yeah, no, it was VST, right? I think it was VST. Oh, there's Alec. Okay. You called it. Any opinion on Wolf? Their founder talking about Fluidstack and Google. So Wolf is that TeraWolf? I don't own Wolf. And this is one volatile MFer, if I remember. Or maybe I'm thinking of Wolf, WOLF, which was always at the top of the volatility charts with their bankruptcy stuff. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know enough about TeraWolf to say anything intelligent about it. Are they data centers as well? Data processing services? I don't know. Honestly, I'd have to look into them. I'd hate to give you any false hope. Wow. I'm surprised. Minus 2,500%. Okay, well, that doesn't seem good. I'm just going to throw that out there. That's not even a real number. Do numbers go that high? CLS. All right. What is CLS? Celestica. Celestica Inc. What is... I know the game Celeste. What does Celestica do? Y'all picking up some obscure things. This, are they competing with like MU or something? Who are their competitors? I mean, the stock looks good. It's bullish. Big retest to the 50 on the daily. What's the weekly look? I mean, they withstood the week's shenanigans better than most. That's got to be a good sign for sure. Yeah, TeraWolf. Alex, a Wolf enjoyer. All right. VRT. Yeah, VRT is a different company though. I'm aware of VRT as well. I feel like VRT is a Tron pick. No, it's not. It's too expensive to be a Tron pick. But I know of a few people who've been playing them. Can't remember who off the top of my head. Celestica is another OF group. Maybe Celestica uses Camtasia? Probably. Yeah. What else we got? Meta still on the rebound here, maybe? Bouncing off that 600 gap twice? Yeah, I don't know. I'm liking MetU here. We'll see. I think I don't know. Who knows what'll happen, but I think we've got a lot of upside potential. Maybe we test a 200. It's very possible. And you obviously had a decent finish to the week. Got to go back to the daily to see that. Some green bars. That was kind of nice to see. Although, I didn't realize we started so low today. At one point, though, they were up quite a bit prior to the day prior. I do have some AIP, which another cup that I've drawn that... This is a mega cup, by the way. We'll see if this comes to fruition. Got to stick to the weekly on this one. I don't know. I mean, it's still totally fine within the cup boundaries for the most part. STX, what do I think? What is STX? Seagate. Oh, yeah. We talked about Seagate. Yeah, I mean, like, here's the deal. I think it's great. I think it had a great run, but I just would never touch something like this. That is wildly overbought. I mean, I'm not sure what news they had that they ran off of that made it run so high. Uh, CFO just sold 62,000 shares for 17 million. That sounds good to me too. I would do that if I was him. Everyone's selling shares. I wouldn't touch them. I wouldn't touch them here if that's what's happening at the top, and they had such a wild run. Yeah, I'm out, dude. I wouldn't go in now. Would I buy Uber, dude? I hate Uber. I was in Uber at 60, sold it at 70, something like that. Made money on it. It was back in like April. Nah, it was around here. Yeah, in this time frame. Bought here, sold here. Felt like it took forever. Was not exciting at all. Actually, maybe I didn't sell it to here. It took forever to get out. I think it was here, but that's the weekly. And on the daily, that bar breaks into like I got out before that, like in the low 80s, somewhere over here. But to your question, what do I think about them now? What did their earning? How did they do? They beat on earnings significantly. That's impressive. I know there's been some announcements with partnerships with. Oh, who did they partner with? OpenAI? Maybe it was OpenAI. Yeah, I don't know why everybody asks me about Uber. It's going to become a running joke here. I look forward to it. Okay, the reason I won't buy Uber is at this point I think it's commoditized, that business. I think there's too much of a mix between Uber. I don't think Lyft is like a major competitor, but it's there, and I don't think they're going away. Ride shares in general, robo-taxis, and then way down at the bottom is Waymo. I don't actually worry about Waymo. That was, by the way, what caused these drops repeatedly was Waymo opening in Miami. For some reason, everyone's like, Uber's done. Waymo is in Miami, guys. It's over. It's like, where else is Waymo? And they're like, I don't know, some obscure town in Arizona that nobody's ever heard of, called like Phoenix or something. And then once it became a thing in Miami, just the potential, Uber was like, we're going out of business, it looked like. Everybody was so salty on it. I was like, what is this? What is happening? Why would that affect anything? Waymo's going to take 10 years to do anything. Uber just partnered with NVIDIA. Oh, it was NVIDIA. Okay, yeah, it was something obscure. Not obscure as in an obscure company, but why the hell would Uber partner with NVIDIA? What is it? Are they going to use like the tires and the engine to power data centers on wheels that are networked around the world? I don't think so. Yeah, definitely get that profit, Black Mamba. Take it. Take the profit. Nothing else. Robo taxis? Yeah, but Uber doesn't have a car. Who are they going to partner with? Rivian? Oh, that would be... If Rivian could actually execute, that would be insane. At you in a few years on what? On Waymo? Dude, I don't think Waymo is going to take everything out. I think the robo-taxis from Tesla are going to take everything out. And you want to know why? Like, it's honestly real simple. They make cars. And they make a lot of them. And they already work fully. What else matters? That's the problem with Rivian, by the way, and all these companies that are like non-Chinese companies, obviously, that are allowed to sell cars in the US. None of them can make cars fast enough. There's only one. It's Tesla. And so, like, they have the market long term, in my opinion. Yes, Waymo has better technology and capabilities, but who cares? The robo-taxi takes care of like 95% of situations, if not more. So like, yeah, save Waymo for the rainstorm with light blinding the cameras, I guess. Stellantis, Lucid, and Mercedes join level 4 ecosystem leaders, leveraging blah, blah, blah. Dude, I love how people were so quick to hate on Tesla when Mercedes had the first ever level 3 or level 4 like car that could only drive on a specific portion of a specific highway for like 20 miles and it could only go 45 miles an hour or something absurd, and only during the day. Like the number of parameters that it had around making this level 4 certified was a joke. And look, I don't know. I'm not even going to say I like Tesla as a company, but I have the car and I love the car and it's amazing. It's like there's just I've been in Rivian. I've used Rivian Autopilot. It cannot do what Tesla can do. Lucid, there's multiple in the neighborhood. I haven't been in one, but they just can't make cars. They can't make enough. And like go on the Lucid subreddit and it's all quality control issues. Because they're all like prototype cars. Not exactly. Okay, they make a production car, fine, but they're just not good at it yet. They're so far away from it. Lord Mar, I don't want to get slapped tonight, so I'm going to avoid that one. Sounds like the AI contract bubbles they were making on Reddit. Probably. Uber's partner with Joby. I heard about that too. I do. Oh, by the way, I like Joby, and I've been meaning to get back in on them. What did they do? Where are they? They drop? There you are. I actually thought about getting in on them at 15. Glad I waited. This is a good example of patience. Yes, good job, Rise. Good job. Yeah, I don't know. Like right now, I'm already in Archer, so and it's a small position in Archer. I'd like to get back into Joby, but at this point, I figure there's no rush after missing on earnings slightly. Although revenue is great, there's not a rush. I feel like we're going to back test here at some point, which we almost did. This made up line of 1302. But I feel like we're going to actually touch the line. I'd be surprised if we hit the 200 SMA, but we're below the 100, so it's possible. And we've got this like red decision candle going on. So we'll have to see what happens for a few days. But if we get back to like this range, I am totally back in. I like Joby better than Archer, frankly. So the CEO is not as exciting, but Archer CEO has got me to the point where I'm like, I just don't believe he can execute on a vision. And so I am looking to exit Archer ideally at or above cost basis at some point. Saw your very first Lucid in the wild the other day. Really? There's at least a half dozen of them in my town. Yeah, I don't know. They're cool. They're old man cars. They look like old man cars. I feel like if Buick were to design an EV, it would be a Lucid, basically. Why Robotaxi when you can fly? That's a great question, DT. We're all wondering the same thing. We're wondering that, and we're wondering when you're going to start selling those damn wallets. Okay, those are the two things we want to know. You know, the eVTOL, the EVTOL business, which is electronic vertical takeoff and landing, I think, is fascinating to me. Coming from aerospace, spending a lot of time there, I've been told for a year now that there is no issue with getting things approved through the FAA. And I'm like, says who? Have you done aerospace stuff? Because nothing moves quickly in aerospace. Nothing. And I don't see how now all of a sudden things are going to go crazy. Now, here's the thing. If Archer can do this in, like, where were they looking? Saudi Arabia? No. Dubai, right? Like, if they do Dubai and it works and, like, they buy into it, okay, there's a path. I don't know. Here's the real problem with Archer. They may have a product that they can make that works. I'm not sure they can do scale production, build, and assembly. The same conversation that we were just talking about with electronic vehicles. If you look at Archer, Like, look at all the promotional material they ever share, which they don't have to share everything, obviously, but there's very little that they show of hardware. They literally have like two birds, I think, in a hangar that they show repeatedly. Like, where's everything else? Where are the other ones? Your prototype works, right? So once you have a prototype, generally you start manufacturing these things. There's no factory shots. There's nothing, and that, I don't know, makes me wonder what's going on. Ansh, what do I think about Plug? Oh man, Plug feels memey to me. What are we at? $2? Yeah, it's a penny stock, man. It's a penny stock. Market cap, well, okay, it's 3 billion market cap. It's not a penny stock, actually, based on that. I do look at the chart and go like, oh, that's disgusting. How far back do I have to go to find the top? It's so when I look at Plug, I go, yeah, I'm never touching this. There's just no reason. There's no reason. Now, if for some reason you're generally bullish on the company, hopefully we were bullish here and sold here, probably not. We are at all-time lows, basically, right? Well, I guess 38 cents was all-time lows. Here's the thing. I wonder if they're getting into reverse split territory. And I don't like it. I don't like being in that spot. And I look at red, all just red forever. And yeah, they beat on revenue slightly, but EPS just is always a miss. Always. Still going. Still terrible. Can't do it. Can't figure it out. Don't know what we're doing. How many years back am I now? Yeah, I wouldn't touch it, man. I have zero conviction in this company. Can they turn it around? I mean, hopefully for the investors that are in there, but it's a generally bearish trend. All the EMAs, we've got a reverse golden cross on the monthly. Let's look at the weekly. What do you call a reverse golden cross anyway? I don't even know. But basically, everything's below everything. And maybe there's short-term, very short-term bullish trend going on here. But I don't believe it. There needs, for me, it's a Bill Burr line right there. There has to be some continued multiple, like after these many misses, I would want to see a year of like good numbers. This is probably hype and talk and potential deals and sell in the future, not knowing anything without having dug into it. So again, I apologize if I called your baby ugly, but based on the chart alone, I would never touch it. Kodu made it. Welcome in. Good to see you. Joby is in final FAA, I think. Yeah, but I've been hearing that forever, dude. Mr. Evan, I hope you get your beatboxes in the air. Joby seems best situated. Yeah, I agree with that. That's why I want to get back in Joby and out of Archer long term. Well, look, you can still own stocks for fun, right? Like there's nothing wrong with that. A Dookie cross. Okay. Yeah, we can go with that one, Alec. I'll allow it. It's called the Death Cross. Is it really? I feel like I should know this, but I don't. Death Cross works. Death Note. But I like the Dookie Cross. That's also pretty good. All right, everybody. We've been going for an hour and a half. I'm out of tea, and I didn't have any high noon, so I think I'm going to call it here. Rough week, but also great opportunities, I think, abound. So keep to your conviction, keep to your positions, keep to your hypothesis. If something changes, then feel free to change, but until something changes, why change? And let's keep making money. I think it may take a couple weeks. It may take into 2026 to see a real turnaround. But as we know, it always happens. And if for some reason it stops happening, well, we got bigger problems than that. So no reason to freak out yet. The chart has only ever gone up and to the right. And long term, that's all it ever really should do. So excited to see where this takes us in the next weeks, months, and years. Anyway, until next time, Rise out. I'll see you in a week. And hopefully some new videos in between now and then for the regular YouTube channel if you like that type of stuff. Otherwise, have a good weekend. See you in the Discord. Bye.